Hey YouTube, how you doing? It is Chris and Carly. We are back with another video for you, and it's been a week since we fed the ball pythons. This is actually Saturday night, so I think in that last video we said we were going to feed every Sunday night. Well, we learned some things last week. So for those of you that watched last week, you saw that Cutie actually took her rodent, but Bubbles did not. There were a few things that we learned. First, I had dried off the rodents a little bit more, and Cutie took it. I actually warmed up the water a little hotter right before Cutie took it, and then it was really, it was about 2 hours later, so it was about 9:45, and so it was much later in the evening. So what we've decided to do is, instead of feeding it around 9:30 like we thought, we're actually probably going to feed closer to like 11 o'clock, maybe 11:15. And the reason is, for the past couple of nights I've been watching them.
Because Bubbles is coming out.
Yeah, and so what we saw was at about 9:30, 10 is when they kind of start coming out and kind of start looking around and doing all that. Well, when I pulled it open at about 10:30 or so, both of them were just kind of poised in that classic S shape and ready. It looked like they were ready to take a rodent, and so we're gonna wait. And I kind of checked on them. It was about every hour, I think, every hour, every 45 minutes or so, and they were out and about till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Is when I was like, I'm done. I'm going to sleep. And so I think feeding them much later in the evening will actually show a lot more success for us. And so, since Carly has school on Mondays, we decided we're gonna bump feedings back to Saturdays. Now, we're not planning on doing hundreds of feeding videos or anything like that, but we do want to show you at least the first couple. Hopefully what we've seen about our snakes, hopefully we'll be able to see 2 successful feedings tonight. And so right now, just so everybody knows, if that's something that you do not want to see, later in this video, we will show feeding of the frozen thawed rodents that we actually pulled out for them. So what we've got for them, we had gone back to the breeder because they had given us a lot of really big ones, didn't they?
Yeah, they still had some pretty big ones in this.
They were still pretty big, but
there were some smaller ones.
Yeah, we had some smaller ones this time, and so ultimately what had happened in that, I guess they had mixed our bag up with somebody else's bag, and so we're just going to do a quick, just make sure I got the 2 out that are supposed to be out. So this one I believe is 19 grams or so. Yep. So that's the one we're going to give to Bubbles. And it was funny. We were looking at him today, and with just that one male. Now Cutie is a little bit older as well. She was born a few weeks earlier. But man, Cutie is just
much bigger.
Yeah, she just feels much bigger, looks much bigger than Bubbles does. So we
Her
really
head is
need
much bigger.
Yeah, we need to get Bubbles eating for sure.
Yep, and this one is 22 grams.
Yeah, so I thought it was
Still
smaller.
big.
Yeah, so this is again still kind of on that upper end of what.
But she took a 22 last time.
She did. She took 22 last week. I think it's fine. Like I said, it is on kind of that upper end of what I think they're going to be able to take, but. Ultimately, if we can get Bubbles eating tonight on this smaller one, we already know that Cutie
is probably going to eat.
Yeah, is going to eat, and she can eat this larger one fine. And then I think moving forward, we'll be good with the rodents that we have left. So, what we've basically done this time, instead of putting them in a Ziploc baggie and in some cooler water, I'm actually just going to set them out just on a plate like this. I'm actually going to set it here next to the rack where we have the snakes.
See if that will get their scent.
Well, maybe, right? So as this kind of thaws out, hopefully it'll do a couple of things. I think whenever we had these, since they're frozen, I think whenever we had them in the Ziploc baggie, they were really wet when they came out. And so hopefully this will allow some of that to kind of either evaporate off, or we have them just on this this paper towel here, so hopefully it'll just kind of wick that away. If we still have to pat them dry, then we can. And then what we'll probably do, so it's about 7:45 right now, so we're not planning on feeding for about 3 hours or so. I think that would be plenty of time for these to completely thaw. If they don't, then we probably will put them in water of some sort. And then right before we feed them, we will dip them in really hot water, get them nice and kind of toasty, if you will, get the Where those snakes, again, they have the heat pits in the front of their face there, and that's how they actually sense to see where
their food is.
where their prey is, right? And so we will we'll do that. So when we come back, hopefully, what we'll see is a couple of successful feedings. And so what we'll do, since we're not sure what that'll be like, and it'll be late, and we'll probably not do kind of a follow-up on that, why don't we go ahead and do our fun fact now, Carly? So what's our fun fact about ball pythons?
You should probably get like hides and snakes enclosures or tub or bin or whatever you want to call their enclosure, but you should have one in there just so they can have somewhere just to hide away and feel nice and secure.
Yeah, and that's very, very important, especially for ball pythons. If you think about where they're from, which is in Africa, they actually kind of spend most of their life in termite mounds, or sometimes underground in kind of some burrowing burrows from different rodents. And so they like to feel secure. They like to know that they're secure all the way around, and they like it really dark. And so with our hides, or I'm sorry, with our tubs, being see-through. Well, they're not see-through, but they're opaque. Certainly let some light in. I think that helps us with kind of a day-night sequence, but certainly during the day, that's why we provided the hides, is so that they can actually go in there. They'll feel secure. It's nice and dark. And they can get away from everything. So, all right, great fun fact. So I think what we'll do, guys, is this, the next time we come on, it'll be a few hours later in the evening, and we'll attempt to feed the snake. So we'll see you in just a few minutes. Okay, guys, so it's 11 o'clock. So we've had our rat pups out for about 3 hours now. They completely thawed. So it was really good, and they were really, really dry also. So a couple of things that we had a problem with before, like we said, was they were kind of wet, so maybe the scent didn't quite get on there. So we've had them sitting for a couple of minutes in some really nice hot water, so that will warm them up. Got our feeding tongs here, so we're going to start out with Cutie, see if we can get her to feed, and then we'll move on to Bubbles. So why don't you come on over here?
I'm pretty sure Cutie's gonna.
So you can just see we put them back in here. Let's see here.
The gray one is.
That's the bigger one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So we're just going to hold him by the back here. We're going to turn the slide up. Move, please, Carly. So hopefully we can see. See if. Oh, here we go. There we go. And then what you want to do is you kind of hold it like that, because you got to think in the wild they would kind of struggle a little bit. So perfect. So Cutie went. All right, now let's back up. Let's get this one, and let's see.
Hopefully Bubbles is.
Let's see if Miss Bubbles will give us the same. So this one, as you can see, guys, is a much smaller pup.
Yeah, we wanted to give her a smaller one because we wanted to give this a good chance.
Please move back, Carly. Get back, Sophia. So let's see, Miss Bubbles. No, it's okay. So she is not liking it. She was out the other day. No, she's going back in the hide.
She'd more like get it away from me.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to give her a chance to just kind of chill out a little bit. So she's just kind of turning into our problem child, kind of. So we're going to leave that there.
Yeah, ball pythons are.
Come here, Soph. We'll come back. You see Cutie's still got that one wrapped up, which is good. So we're going to leave her alone for a minute, and then we'll come back. All right. Okay, guys, we had success with Bubbles tonight. So what we found that we had to do, so she's a little scared when we bring the tongs in with the food kind of straight on like this. What we had to do was barely open the barely open the tub, bring it straight down where it was more eye level to her, and kind of swing it around like this. And boy, once we did, man, she hit it hard. So it took her a second to kind of understand what we were doing and understand what that was. But we have success, and we are going to have a successful feed. All right. Okay, guys. So it's the next day now.
Yeah.
We had successful feedings from both Cutie, which we never have a problem with Cutie, or haven't had one yet, and Bubbles. So Bubbles did really well. Both of them ate. Both of them are doing really great, and so we appreciate y'all hanging in there with us this evening or yesterday or whatever day it was. But we appreciate you guys hanging in with us. And Carly, what do we need them to do?
Like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Hit the bell, ring the bell so you know when we have new content. So thanks for coming along, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.